Hi, Hi everyone. I hope you are all having a great morning. I know it's still early and there's got loads to come, but hopefully you're having a great time so far. And I'm very excited to be hosting you for the next half an hour. So I'm going to be talking about the how to harness the power of networking. So I started out my networking journey totally by accident while I was still at university. I got taken along to a networking event and I hated it. It was probably one of the most scariest things of my life because you told all your life, stranger danger, don't talk to strangers. And then you suddenly, get to an age and thrown in a room full of them and expected just to talk to them. So I didn't take to networking naturally, to say the least. But I forced myself to keep going to events. And eventually I fell in love with it. And it led me to my first job, like real grown-up job after graduating, and then led me to my next job, which led me to my first business. And it's just been this catalyst for everything that's happened throughout my career, and it's built so many exciting relationships and friendships as well along the way. So now what I do through Networking Knowho is I teach networking skills and I help businesses create networking strategies. So that's a little background about me, but we're going to start getting into the real good stuff. So first of all, I want to talk about the power of networking to really emphasize how powerful networking can be for your career and just, in life in general. So UCLA conducted 2 rounds of academic research into the power of networking over a 5-year period. And the first round of research, they looked at career development. So this one was actually in the French Riviera, I think. And it was, they took 2 groups of people, both from the same educational background, and they followed them over 5 years. And the only difference between the 2 groups is that one group had a really strong personal network and the other group didn't. So over a 5-year period, they followed them to see how they went along in their career development. And the people with the strong personal network moved up faster in their industry. So whatever industry they were in, whether it was law, finance, consultancy, whatever, they moved up the ladder quicker. They had better job security, so they were less likely to leave their jobs, to be fired, to move on to a different position. They were paid more than the people that didn't have that strong personal network. But really interestingly, they were actually less productive in their day jobs. So the jobs that they were getting paid to do, they were getting paid more to do them, but they were actually being less productive. So this really highlights how much power having this strong personal network can give you, and the importance that employers put on their staff having a strong network as well. It can help you develop in your career quicker, but it also shows that you're almost valued more by your employer. So that's how powerful it can be. The second round of research looked at large organizations and what happened to those large businesses. This was in the US. What happened to those businesses when the CEO, who was really well networked, had a strong personal network, when that CEO either quit, died, or retired? What happened to that business over the 5 years following, when they weren't replaced with the next CEO with an equally strong personal network? So every single company suffered financially. Some of them more than others. Some companies were actually dissolved, and these were large organizations with potentially hundreds of employees. So some of these businesses went bust. But it's not for the reason you might think. So often, to be fair, when I first read this research, I thought, well, yeah, obviously, if you're the CEO of a business, you've got a strong network, you're going to bring in lots of new business. But it was nothing to do with bringing in new business. It was all to do with the fact that as a well-networked individual and CEO, they had access to much more knowledge. They were able to access up-to-date information before it was made public. They were given new opportunities that others weren't because of their personal networks, and they were able to learn from their peers and from the people that they had in their network as well. So networking is not just something that salespeople do. It's not just about bringing in business. It's about the access to information and knowledge that you have through building these effective relationships. So that's something I really wanted to highlight, because I think, especially when you're starting out in the world of networking, you often think, oh, well, I haven't got any business to give anyone. I can't buy anything from anyone. But networking with the idea of going to an event or going to a networking session to try to learn from them is the most powerful way that you can network, and it'll make you a better listener and just all round just a better networker, which is what we want. So obviously we can't just go along to a networking event at the moment. So there's virtual networking events, and there are so many of them at the minute. Like now, it's just absolutely amazing. Me and I were how the world's just suddenly got used to being on Zoom and on this, which is fantastic. So there's different networking events that are available to you digitally. So first of all, you've got hashtag hours. So these are actually networking events that happen on Twitter. So you can go onto Twitter and use a certain hashtag, like I'm over at the minute in the Northeast, and there's a Northeast networking hour. So you go on Twitter every Tuesday, I think it is, between 2 and 3 o'clock, use that hashtag, tweet with it, and then follow all the other people that are using that hashtag as well. And it's a great way to engage with new people that are usually geographically focused. So obviously that one's a Northeast hour. There's often like Manchester hour, Cumbria hour, but they could also be topic specific. So if you've got an interest like manufacturing hour or ukulele hour or whatever it is, there's going to be some kind of online networking event, and using those hashtags is a great way to find other people that have got the same interest as you or are based in a certain geographic area. So you can find new businesses that like I say, based somewhere that you might want to work or get experience from or learn from. They're free to attend, they're consistent because they're every week at the same time, and they're free. They're a great way to just start engaging with new people. Secondly, you've also got obviously networking events. So online networking events, go to websites like Eventbrite or findnetworkingevents.com, where they've got lists and reams of all these different networking events that are available. And you go along with the sole purpose of chatting to other people. There'll be an event host there that'll introduce you, that'll often put you into a separate little digital room. So you'll get to network with 2 or 3 other people, which is a nice way to do it. But by going to these events, you're going with the purpose of chatting to other people, making new connections, and everyone's there for the same reason. And no matter what stage you are in your career, how much money you get paid, what car you drive, networking can be intimidating to everybody. I deliver training to people that have been in business for 20, 30 years. So don't think that just because you're starting out means that everyone else knows what they're doing, because they don't, trust me. So go into a networking event, make sure that you remember that you're all in the same position. Everyone's there just to chat and meet other people, and they want to get to know you as well. The third format is remote seminars. So something like this, where there's opportunities to network. So I call it like a networking sandwich. So you've got often a chance to network at the beginning. Then in the middle, which is the filling of the sandwich, you've got some kind of seminar or panel discussion or a talk. And then at the end, there's an opportunity, again, piece of bread in the sandwich, opportunity to network again. These are really great ways to navigate networking events that have got a theme or a topic. So it takes a bit of the pressure off the just networking events, because you're all at the same event and there's a theme. So it could be something on AI, it could be on manufacturing, it could be UX design, anything. Everyone that's at the event's got the same interest as you. And when we've got things in common with people, we build trust with them, and we instantly have a little bit more to chat about. So going to a remote seminar is a great way to network, but with a little less pressure. So if you do go networking online, which you should be, because it's fun, if nothing else, and you just get to meet lots of people, there's different kinds of event etiquette. So a really great one is utilize the Q&A section. So obviously, even right now, there's a Q&A section. Utilize it if you've got a question you want to ask about networking, you've got any issues, put your question in there. It gets you in front of the rest of the delegates. It gets you in front of the speaker and the hosts. And it's a great way to engage at a remote networking event. Don't worry if you're late to a networking event either. In real life, it can be a bit more intimidating because you've got to kind of walk into that room. Whereas digitally, don't worry if you're late. You just log in, no one knows, and you can just pretend like you were there the whole time. But make sure you stay till the end and utilize the chat area so you can chat with other delegates. The networking roulette, sometimes there's an option to click a button and you get thrown into a little digital room with a random other person, which is always fun, and you just never know who you're going to meet. And if there's an exhibition section, like I know there is at this event, make sure you go and speak to those people and chat with them. That's what they're there for. So take advantage of all the different opportunities. Also with online networking at any networking event, have a look at who's attending the event beforehand and start engaging with them there. So if an event's got a certain hashtag, search it, see who's tweeting about it, who's talking about it on LinkedIn, reach out to the speakers, connect with them, chat with other delegates and hosts before you even get to the networking event. So it means that you're going to get more out of the time and energy that you're putting into attending. But the biggest thing you can do when it comes to networking is just engage with people. So as I say, engage with them before, obviously during the event, and then afterwards as well, reach out to people, follow them on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn. Facebook's private, it's a bit personal, but you know, LinkedIn, that's what that's there for, and that's what Twitter's there for as well. So engage with people and think networking as an opportunity for the start of a conversation. It's a great way to meet and start chatting with people, and then there's loads of stuff that you can do after to continue that engagement. One of the things you can do to really encourage and grow your network in a positive sense is something that I call connection marketing, which sounds very fancy, and it really is, but it's all about building your personal brand by being really nice. So when you're networking, being nice to the people you meet, it sounds dead simple, but you'd be surprised how often it's forgotten. So being nice is one of the most powerful things you can be. And I'm going to get Sam to click the magic button and show you a video, which we don't think has any sound, but I'll let you use your imaginations. And don't worry, it still shows the point that we want to make. There may have been a bit of delay on that. So basically, what happened, let me paint the picture for you. So this was a wonderful McDonald's advert. I hope no one's hungry. And Michael turned up to McDonald's on the morning, all suited and booted, and he went to order his McDonald's. But there was a lady that came at the same time, and rather than pushing in, he said, "No, it's okay, you go ahead." And she was on the phone, she was like, "Cheers, beep, 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 order my scran, get us my food." And then off he goes. Michael enjoys his delicious McDonald's, and he's getting ready. He goes up and he's ready for his interview. He's going for a job interview. It's a very exciting day, hence why he needed the energy from his Mackie D's. Goes into the interview. It's his turn to go into the room. He sits down, and there his interviewer is the lady from McDonald's. And how serendipitous. And this is just the epitome of, you just never know who you're going to be talking to. And when you're in a networking situation or just out in general life, it's so important to remember especially when you're starting out in your career, you never know who you're talking to, because that person could be someone that you really want to build a relationship with, or that you're going to need to chat with in 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time. And you also don't know who they know as well. When you're networking and building your network, if you leave a negative impression with someone, they're never going to recommend you to their network, their further connections either. So again, making sure that you've got in the forefront of your mind, you just don't know who you're chatting with, and when you might need to draw in on that relationship or ask someone for their help. And you'll quickly build a reputation as being someone that's friendly and respectful and gives everyone the same amount of time that you deserve. Because as I say, where they're going to be in 5 years' time, you don't know. So people that you went to primary school with, or that you've been studying with now, you could walk into an interview room one day and they could be sat there, and you've got to think about, how do you want them to remember you? And how is your behavior now going to affect your future marketing and branding of yourself? Because that's essentially what it is. So think about how you like to be remembered and how you want people to think of you if you were to ever come back around, because it does happen. It's a small world. So you just never know. So in a bit more detail though about connection marketing in general, this is kind of a description that I use. So connection marketing is the promotion of yourself and your business through effective relationship management and matchmaking to create opportunities, share information, and add significant value to people who know you. And the biggest thing on here is adding that significant value. So in networking, in your career, if you can really add value to the people in your network, you quickly become someone that's valuable to know. And the more people will want to know you and build relationships with you, and you'll get opportunities and doors open that you could never, ever have imagined. You get invited to more events that aren't accessible, and you get opportunities to be involved in different business deals. And there's just so many things that come out of that. And there's different ways that you can add value to the people in your network as you grow it moving forward. So adding value comes from, you could make referrals for work. So if you've got a friend that's a hairdresser, this is a really simple one. Hen, that's a friend that's a hairdresser. You've got another mate that needs a haircut. Oh, go to my friend. They're a hairdresser. There you go. They get a lovely haircut. Your hairdresser's got a new client. Lovely. Everyone thinks that you're fantastic for it. So this is where referring for work is a great way of promoting yourself. Making introductions for opportunity as well. It doesn't always have to be a referral for business. So it could be an introduction for an opportunity. If someone's wanting a new job and you know of an opportunity coming up in your business, in your department where you work, making those introductions that result in exciting new opportunities for people, that's a great way to showcase yourself as someone who's well connected, who's helpful, and is adding value to people. Also, just through sharing your knowledge. This is a massive one that people underutilize. But again, you know, if you're studying at the minute or you've not long come out of studying, you've got if you've got an idea, an opinion, then you've got something that you can add value to people in your network, to people that you meet. So share your knowledge, share your thoughts on the world, on the subjects that you're passionate about. You know, do that through blogs or vlogs or just in conversation. But sharing your knowledge is a fantastic way to add value to the people in your network. It shows them that you're great at what you do, and it associates you with the subject you want to be known for and that you want to work in. But it also helps them potentially solve problems, learn something new. And it's just a really fantastic way to add value to the people that are in your network. Inviting people to events is a really quick and simple one as well. So like the event today, you know, if you know someone that would get value from it, share the information with them. Say, oh, this is an event happening that I'm going to. It'd be great if you can come. It's a great way to continue to build relationships. It shows, again, that you're well connected and you've got the finger on the pulse of what's going on. And it's just a really good way to add value to both the event organizers by bringing more people to them, but also to the people in your network in general. Offering people support and being there to help people is a really great way as well to showcase yourself as someone who's helpful, supportive, reliable, and it builds trust. And within networking, we need to have know, like, and trust. People need to know you exist and what you do. They need to like you, because if they don't, they're never going to want to work with you. And they need to trust you. And giving people support on an ongoing basis, if and when they need it, and being there for them is a really fantastic way to add value and also to continue to build that support. To give that support and add that value and build that trust. And finally, being reliable is a fantastic way to add value, but also continue to build that trust. If you're flaky and you're late for meetings or you don't show up to stuff, that's not that people aren't going to then recommend you for additional opportunities. So you need to be reliable, be consistent, and show up when you say you're going to. If you say you're going to do something, and that will give people the confidence enough to recommend you for opportunities and recommend you for exciting new things that happen. So when you go networking, I want you to think about how you can help. So how can you help the people that you're engaging with and you're meeting? What value add can you give to them? How can you help them? But also, what can you learn from these people? So remember at the beginning, we talked about networking for knowledge and meeting people to learn from them. Go out and network with people who are in industries that you're interested in exploring, and find out how they got to where they are today. What advice they can give to someone starting out in that industry or that career. You know, go to these events. People love to talk about themselves, and they love to share their experience and give some of their knowledge back, especially to people who are just at the beginning of their journeys. And it's something that you'll do in the future as well. So think about how you can help people, yes, especially with your knowledge transfer, because I'm sure you're all a smart bunch of cookies, but also what can you learn from these people? And go networking events with that in your mind, in your heart, will make you a fantastic networker, and who knows where it might lead. So now we're open. I know that the Q&A chat's been open, so I hope you've been putting loads and loads of questions in there. Here's my details as well, so be sure that you reach out and engage, and I'm always happy to help any way that I can. But yeah, I think Ellie's going to rejoin us now, and we're going to do some questions. If we've got any questions, if you've got any, you can always put them in. Here she is. Hi,
Ellie. Hi. So we've had, take that out. Can you hear me okay? Perfect.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So we've had quite a few questions that come in. It's a really, really great chat, really informative. Hope you guys took some really good insight from it. We'll go through a few questions, and any that we can't get through, Jenny might be able to record the answers to them later, and we can put that on demand. So the first question I will select are, how can you network on, say, LinkedIn or Twitter when you're just starting out in an industry, socially distanced at times?
So if you're, LinkedIn and Twitter are very different platforms, but they both utilize hashtags, and I think Twitter more so, I'd focus on looking for hashtags of certain keywords. So if you've got a certain industry that you're passionate about and you want to explore and find out more about, searching those hashtags on Twitter is a great way to find people that are obviously tweeting using those hashtags. Engage with them, follow them, ask them questions. As I said, you know, networking for knowledge and going out with the idea of trying to learn from people starts with you asking questions, and that's what makes a great networker. On LinkedIn, I would look for groups. So again, groups, people don't use them as much as they used to or as much as they should, but LinkedIn groups are a fantastic way to meet groups of people who have got a common interest. So it's a great way to find individuals within larger or smaller businesses that you maybe wouldn't necessarily know about and start engaging in their content. Often people go on social media and they forget to be social. They'll just post things on there, or they'll scroll and read, but engage with them, like stuff, comment on it, share it. You'll make the people that are putting that content out there feel happy. You'll give them a little hit of dopamine. They'll feel great about it. That's why we're all addicted to it. So yeah, engaging with the other people's content is a great way of it. It allows you to engage, but it also, sharing that content positions you with and aligns you with those topics as well. So it's a win-win.
Brilliant. There's another really great question from Steph, which I think might be playing on a lot of people's minds. And it sounds quite simple, but what is a good conversation starter when you don't know what to talk about at networking events?
Oh, that's a good one. And it's one that often, I mean, it's one that I get all the time. So my go-to starting point at a networking event is, hi, we haven't met yet. What is it you do? And I don't know why, but I do like this little, hi, I do this thing, and it's just my little thing. But asking, yeah, we haven't met yet. What is it you do? How did you get into that job? How did you get into that role? And then if you go and start going down a path with their job, their career that you maybe don't want to explore even further, start then focusing on networking in general. It's looking for things that you've got in common with someone, or listening out for key topics that you can hone in on and then develop a conversation through. So it's all starting with a question. So two great questions are obviously, what is it you do? How did you get into that? Or down the route of, do you go to a lot of networking events? As you're just starting out, it's a great excuse to say, do you know, I've not been to many networking events. This is one of my first ones. Have you got any tips for me? Have you got any advice? And again, because with networking, we're all on an even playing field in that it's equally scary for most people. As you get into networking, as a new person comes in, you will naturally want to help them. So as someone that's new to networking, tell people that you're new to networking. Say, this is my first ever event, I don't know what I'm doing. And people will naturally just want to help you and support you and introduce you to other people. So going down those two different routes is a great starting point. And just listening to where the conversation leads and basing on what they say, listen, obviously, and then come back with another question is always a great way to start.
Okay, brilliant. And I think we've got time for one more. This one's from Alex. He says, in an age of social media, more and more young people, including myself, have found that digital communications are incredibly lonely and encourages unhealthy behaviours that increase levels of depression and anxiety. What do you think are some of the healthy habits to utilise when using social media, especially in a social climate with the pandemic?
Alex, I totally agree with you. And I think one of the negative side effects of technology and digital is this, what I call the social apocalypse, in that as humans, we've forgot how to be social and in person, and build relationships with other humans. And it's ingrained in us that we need that. But because we're not fulfilling those needs, it is causing anxiety and depression. And a lot of people of all ages, but especially a younger generation, are really suffering from it. I think something that's really important is to remember that when you're communicating online, even though it's through a screen, it's with another human. It's with another person. Even when I chat to someone on, like a live chat, when it's like if you're on a shopping website or something, and sometimes it might just be a bot and I don't know about it, but I will always communicate with that person as if I am talking to someone that's sat right next to me. And I will be polite, even if I'm angry about something or, I've lost something or whatever. Having the forefront of your mind that you are speaking to another human is so important, and it's something that's quickly dwindling. This is another reason why I think networking is it's not just about going out and building relationships to develop your career or your business or, make sales. Networking is a fundamental human need and a skill. We need to have tribes. We're designed to be around about 150 people, other humans. That's where we kind of feel comfortable and safe. And you can't build those trusting, deep and meaningful relationships digitally. It just doesn't happen. We need to be able to touch and smell and engage with other people in a physical sense. And it's been so difficult, in this last 9 months, and it's going to continue to be difficult. But as soon as it's allowed and it's safe to do so, if you can make that conscious effort to take yourself out of the comfort zone and go and put yourself in a situation where you are meeting with other humans in person and building relationships in that way, it will just give you so many benefits, and it will make you communicate online better as well, because you're going to have relationships built on a foundation of that trust that you get from meeting in person. And it's also going to just help your general communication with people online that you maybe haven't met yet. So when you can, I really encourage people to go out and network in person, and just think of the digital as a kind of as a nice added buffer to the relationships, but the real relationships are built in person. And as soon as you can, please just go out and start meeting people in 3D again and have a coffee with them. Yeah, in person. So I hope that helps, Alex, but I totally agree with you. Feel your pain. Yeah.
Brilliant. I think that's all we've got time for now. It's absolutely flown by. Just like to say another massive thank you to Jenny. It was really informative, really interesting. Said I hope all of you managed to take something away from that and can maybe put some of the advice into practice. So that's all we've got time for. Hope you stick around for the rest of the event. Enjoy the rest of your day. Get chatting to as many as exhibitors as possible. We've got employees and postgrad providers on there. So definitely make the most of today. And thank you again, Jenny.
Thanks so much for having me. I've had a ball.